Alright, so if you've played Roblox recently, or if you played on the regular, you might know that there's another event that just released not that long ago called the Hunt Mega Edition. This event is one of the biggest in Roblox history. Reason why? Well, there's two reasons. Reason number one, the grand prize of this event is $1 million. Reason number two, well, this event just has a lot of content to it. Has a lot of UGC to unlock, and a whole lot of badges to unlock. Now, if you've read the title, you know exactly what I'm doing in this video. I'm going to be attempting to 100% the entirety of the Hunt Mega Edition. Now, before I begin, I know damn well I'm not getting that $1 million, okay? I was nowhere near top 10. I also want to mention, before I begin, that this video is split up into different sections. Those different sections make up the days of this event. Also, one more thing. In the latter half of this video, about midway through the standard tokens, I completely stopped recording my own footage because I was running out of space on my phone. So, the first quarter of this video is probably going to be my own footage. Now, the remainder of the footage will be from Connor3D, a tutorial YouTuber that is a giant W when it comes to these events. Also, one more very last thing I want to mention. While doing the standard tokens, I'll have a few special guests occasionally pop into my servers to do the quest with me. So, well, let's see. Will I be able to 100% the Hunt Mega Edition? Let's find out. Alright, so to start us off, we have SpongeBob Tower Defense. This standard token was actually pretty fun to do. It wasn't that challenging, and it wasn't really that annoying. The main objective for this one is to play the event map titled Chummageddon to its entirety. 15 entire waves of enemies, but it's really easy. Now, we also had this other guy join us. That's just some random guy. No idea who he is, but they definitely carried us to victory here. Now, if you couldn't tell already, our first special guest is already here. Our first special guest is Big Jim, or the fake IDK Sterling. Now, if you couldn't already tell from the video recording here, he's a giant idiot and he doesn't know what he's doing, ever. He has like -2 brain cells. But putting him aside, this one was really fun. Just a little bit boring, but really simple. Had no problems with it. The next game I decided to tackle was Natural Disaster Survival. Now, the funny thing about this quest is that it's basically the exact same thing as the quest from the first hunt, except a lot easier. You don't have to go around collecting clocks and pray to God you don't get fucking flung by the game's terrible physics. It's pretty simple. All you have to do is survive 3 disasters. That's it. This is literally one of the easiest ones in the event. There's really not much to talk about here. But trust me, this is just the start. Many of the quests later on get a lot more difficult. Say goodbye to Big Jim, because now we got a new special guest joining me for Pet Simulator 99. This new special guest's name is Football Man, or aka Jaden, the GOAT. So yeah, this quest is really simple. It took me like 4 minutes to do. Literally the recording is 4 minutes. But this one's super easy and really fast. All you have to do is complete a level 2 raid. That's it. There's like 10 rooms to it. You get through all 10 rooms, you're good to go. You get the token. Pretty simple. After Pet Simulator 99, I decided to go back to the Hunt Mega Edition hub and claim my blank knowledge visor. Then, after that, I become astonished to see how expensive the gold track is this event. I didn't really understand how many items there were at first, but there's a lot. The next game me and Jane decided to do was Eat the World. Now, this game is just a grindy mess. if you have no experience with this game, it's going to be a little bit confusing how you do it. But also, it just takes so long if you're not experienced with this game. Now, what I didn't realize in the beginning is that you're not supposed to feed parts of the world to the noob. You're supposed to feed the noob the foods around the map. I didn't really realize that until about a couple minutes in. Then apparently Jaden didn't really understand it either, so he left about midway through, and I had to complete this solo. But that's not really a problem, because I did the majority of this event solo, so it is what it is. Okay, so back to the quest. So, to actually pick up those foods around the map, you actually have to be a certain size. And as you probably just saw there, I spent 50 Robux on money, so I could, level up a little bit faster. Now right there, I just did a massive jump cut to, the end of the quest. So, I feed him all he needs, I grab the token from out of his hand, and that's it. After Eat the World, I decided to return back to the Mega Edition hub and put myself further into debt and buy the bling track. Yeah. 1,200 Robux down the drain, chat. That's wild. And then I decided to claim my Noir Knowledge Visor. And then Jaden pops up out of nowhere, which scares the shit out of me. But, yeah. Next game. Alright, so the next and final game me and Jaden decided to do together was Tower Defense Simulator. Now, this one wasn't too bad. My main issue with this was Jaden himself. Near the end of the quest, he decides to skip waves. You do not want to do that in a tower defense game, okay? Because you'll have way too many enemies for your towers to worry about, and then they're gonna just sneak right through your towers and fucking kill you, basically. So he was kind of a detriment to my experience, but it's alright though, I still beat it. Now, I don't actually show us winning in this recording. I ended the recording when it said we lost, and he actually left when it said we lost, but I saw the option to go back to Wave 20 using a revive ticket, I think they're called. I did that. We did it. I did it. He didn't get the badge, but I did. So it's kind of selfish on my end, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. And I'm pretty sure I helped him beat it later, so yeah. But enough talking about Jaden. How do we complete this quest? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. I basically already explained it. To complete this quest, you have to beat this map. It's 20 waves long, 5 more than SpongeBob Tower Defense. It ain't bad, though. It's just a little bit of trial and error maybe needed here, but it's not all that bad. The next game I decided to do solo was Bayside High School. Now, I knew this one couldn't be that bad, because it's a high school game. Come on, man. And it wasn't bad, like I thought. Basically, you go into this hunt thing over here, and it triggers a cutscene. That cutscene then leads into a Crossy Road ripoff, but it's really, really cool. Now, to beat it, you just have to make it to the end. That's it. There's only 50 spaces. It's not all that bad. Here's my winning attempt of beating it. It didn't really take that long, so feel free to watch. Or just skip forward to the next game. After that, I decided to return back to the Mega Edition hub once again to unlock the Blank Hexromantle and the Noir Hexromantle. Next game I decided to do was Metro Life. So for this one, you talk to the person at the stand, and then you just bike around town until you get to each of the 6 stands at these different places. Then you take a selfie at those locations, and then you move on to the next one. It's very, very, very easy. Probably the easiest one in this entire event. There's really not much to talk about here. The next one I decided to tackle was Rivals. Now, as you could probably tell, this is not my footage. I just took Connor 3D's footage for this game. Once again, all credits to Connor 3D. I was just too lazy to record it myself. This madman is up all night ready to make these tutorials. So props to him. Anyways, back to the quest. So to do this one, you have to go talk to the shady chicken. He's not there, you have to hack into this computer for him to spawn. Anyway, whenever you talk to him, he gives you these quests. These quests consist of completing 1 round of 1v1s and killing 5 people in 2v2s. Then once you're done with those quests, you go back to the chicken and he gives you your badge. That's it. It's really, really easy. Like I said earlier, definitely recommend using an alt account for this one. The next one I did was Arsenal. Now, I was really excited to do this one, and the excitement paid off. This is definitely one of the best ones from this event by far, because it's basically a continuation of the quest that they did for the first hunt. But yeah, basically for this quest, all you have to do is just complete the little storyline that they make you do here. It's really fun and engaging. Now, my main complaint with this one is the runtime. It's not as long as the previous Arsenal events, but it's still pretty good. Now, I would have liked it if it was a little bit longer, but it makes sense because of what they did for the Mega Token. Jeez, man. But yeah, this quest is definitely in the top 3 for the entire event, for me personally. It's not too hard, it's not too easy, it's just right. And that's how I like my events. Alright, so the last one I decided to do on day 1 was It Girl. This game's quests were pretty straightforward, but yet again, I didn't get footage for this one because 1, I was too lazy, and 2, it was like 12 in the morning on a school night. Those are the times that I'm usually staying up when doing this event, which is crazy. Anyway, this quest just has you play the game for like 20 to 30 minutes. It's not that bad. Not really much to say here. All you have to do is play like 2 rounds of the game, give people like 30 hearts, and then get like 25 hearts yourself. That's probably the hardest one, but yet it's still not that hard. It just takes a really long time and it's extremely boring. Like, the runway sections are so much longer than Dress to Impress's. They go on for way too long, and that's my main complaint with this game specifically. But yeah, that's really it for day 1. On to day 2, I guess. After school on day 2, I decided to continue the grind immediately and hop on Drive World. Now, for a start to day 2, this one kind of annoyed me because they make you do 4 different obbies in a car. Now, this is nothing new. They basically just recycled what they did with the games event, but made it a little bit worse. See, in the games event, you had to do 5 different obbies, but in this one, you had to do 4. However, these obbies are still a pain in the ass. Not to mention, the physics in this game are extremely wonky. They're not very useful when it comes to doing obbies in vehicles. But yeah, I ended up getting this one done in about 10 to 20 minutes. It wasn't all that bad. It's just pretty infuriating when you have to do the same parts over and over and over again until you complete it. After Drive World, I headed back to the Hunt Mega Edition hub to claim my Blank Tech Pack and my Noir Tech Pack. Next game I wanted to do was Clip It. Now, this one is a total nightmare. This quest has you watch 20 shorts to their entirety. And that's not all. That's the hardest step. It's the first and hardest step. It is painfully unbearable to sit through these cringy ass shorts made by like 5-year-olds. That being said, it was pretty easy, but it was just extremely hard to sit through. Then after that first step, you gotta put 3 items on your avatar via the avatar editor, and then you have to upload a short of your own that includes a sound and a filter. That's it. This game really just has you play the game for like 20 minutes and use the game's main mechanics. Also, whenever doing this quest, I didn't realize that you could skip through the videos and it would count towards your 20 videos that you need to watch. I didn't know that, so I literally sat through 20 full shorts. Yeah. I wish I knew that a little bit sooner. Also, I apologize for the video being in vertical mode. Playing this game on mobile makes you play in vertical mode. There's no changing it to horizontal landscape mode, so yeah, sorry about that. I couldn't really control that, so yeah, that's why it's all in vertical now. The next game I did on day 2 was Infection Gunfight. If you were following this event, then you know the drama that this game was in during this event. But we're not at that point yet. We're still on the standard tokens, not the mega tokens. But yeah, this one is honestly really, really boring. This game is a buggy mess, and it's not fun. Just the game in general is not fun. It's extremely boring and unfair. Now the quest itself, it's not unfair, but the mega token sure is. But like I said, we're not there yet. The standard token basically has you getting 200 scores. Yeah, you get scores by infecting people as a zombie or killing zombies. Your best bet is probably by infecting people. That's it. It's very, very easy, but takes so long to do. This game, just like Clip It, has nothing new, and they put little to no effort into this event. Next one, Basketball Legends. Now, I'm gonna keep this pretty short because this clip that I recorded was pretty short because I actually forgot to record this one. But I decided to because we were winning. Anyway, to do this quest, all you have to do is beat this NPC in a 4v1 match. The NPC is actually cracked at basketball, so if you don't know how to time your shots right, you're cooked. But luckily for us, Jayla on our team was incredibly goated and scored as many 3-pointers as possible. Thanks, Jayla, I appreciate it. But yeah, whenever you actually have people on your team doing stuff for you, it's pretty easy. I know a lot of people had trouble with this one, but honestly, I didn't. I just stood there, ran around, acting like I was doing something, but I really wasn't. So yeah, that's about it. You just beat the NPC in a 4v1 match, and that's it. There's me getting the badge, and me celebrating. And that's it. The next game I decided to do was Car Crushers 2. This quest basically has you do 6 other side quests before you get to the really big quest that's literally advertised in the thumbnail. You know, the big volcano jump. But anyway, the first mini quest that you have to do is get 50 credits. The best way to do this is probably in a derby match because, well, I mean, self-explanatory. You really just crash into people and then you get credits. This is the whole point of the derby. The next quest has you spawning in a race class C car and adding air control thrusters to it. I know, it's a really stupid quest, but hey, it's alright, it's pretty easy. You just need a bunch of credits for it. The next mini quest has you going through the water slide crusher 3 times. Yeah, it's pretty easy. Nothing much to say about this one. The last and final mini mission has you driving to the top of the volcano. Jesus Christ, does this take a long time. As you can see in Connor's video, there is a lot of driving happening here. I feel like this part takes the longest. It has you driving up this volcano for a good 2 to 4 minutes. And this footage is sped up too, so it may not look like it's taking that long, but in reality it is. And then the final mission, the big mission, is you go off this volcano and do the giant stunt jump. Then you get the token. The next one I decided to do was Blade League. Oh, guess who returns for this game as a special guest? Big Jim, aka the fake IDK Sterling. So for this quest, you basically just have to score 5 times in 1v1s and complete 1 2v2 match. Sounds pretty similar to Rivals, right? Yeah, it's literally just that same exact quest, but the roles are reversed. So in this clip here, I am totally shitting on Big Jim at Blade League. Never played the game before, before this, but it's honestly kind of fun. I like it. I like it a little bit more than Blade Ball. Near the end here, I let him get his 5 goals in because, well, I felt like I would at least try and give him a chance. And he ended up winning. So, Big Dumbass here thought after the first quest, he was done. But no, there's another quest. Like I said earlier, the other quest is finishing one 2v2 match. And it doesn't matter if you win this 2v2 match, you just have to play it to its entirety. So in this clip here, I actually decided to try and win. We actually didn't end up winning, but the red team was completely shitting on us. But whenever they had about 4 points or 5 points, me and my partner were actually cooking. And I think we got them to 5-4. I think we got 4 points in a row. I definitely carried, but my teammate was also pretty good. But in the end, we lost. Very close to the victory, though. But like I said earlier, it doesn't matter. All you have to do is finish it. The next game I did was... oh no. The next game I did was Untitled Boxing Game. Now I really should have saved this one for last, because this is where it gets fucking hard. Pause. This quest destroyed my sanity. Now I gotta say, this quest was pretty cool actually. It was pretty cool, but guess what? It was another recycle from the games event. They basically had you do the same exact thing as what they did in the games event. They give you 2 bosses to fight, then they give you a token. Wow, how original, guys. But anyway, for this one, you basically have to fight 2 very difficult boss fights. Now, I wouldn't say Raiden is that hard, the one I'm fighting right now, but the one after it, Raven, is a whole different story. Raven is the reason why I was on this game for a good 2 hours. I was on this game 2 hours straight just to beat this one boss. Now, as you can see, it doesn't look like it's that hard in the recording. Also, I apologize that the footage is so choppy. I was in a public server, and this game in public servers is not fun. So for this quest, the last time I played this game was during the games event, which was in August of last year. I didn't have to play this game for an entire year. But as you can see there, I knocked her down to phase 2. Then she fucking destroys me. But yeah, some people are gonna say that this quest wasn't bad. But you listen here, buddy. This quest was a pain in the ass. You gotta understand, there's people that aren't on this game 24/7 and don't know how the game works. This quest is not beginner friendly at all. This quest expects you to have played the game about 1,000 hours beforehand. So on my first attempt, I make it to phase 3. Pretty good. Despite being stuck on phase 1 for a good couple hours. Phase 3 is definitely the hardest phase of them all. See, I get fucked up there, I try again, and this is where it all goes to shit, okay? After my first attempt, I can barely pass phase 1. Now in this recording, I did not win. Okay, this recording was only 20 minutes long before I sped it up to 5x speed. But oh my god, this quest is painful. And I know I've said the same thing over and over again, but I'd like to give you my strategy, even if the event's over at the time of recording this, I still want to give you my strategy to beating Raven. Now, I was stumped on this fight. I didn't know how to beat her, so I was looking up what fighting style was the best. I saw that Hitman was the best. However, with my luck, I could not get the Hitman style. So, the best I could get was the Ippo style, which is the one I ended up using for the regular token and the mega token. Now, the Ippo style mixed with this other strategy that I found out about halfway through my play session, so about an hour in, I figured out that if you dash into her when she's about to do an attack, you can freely hit her for a little bit, and then you can build up some pretty good damage while doing that, too. So that's your best bet. Doing that for all 3 phases, and saving your ultimate for the final phase is definitely your best bet on beating Raven. And at like 12 in the morning or 2 in the morning, I did it. I beat Raven and I got the token. Here's proof that I got the token. Whew, thank God that game's over. Anyway, I go back to the Mega Edition hub and I get the blank fractal wings and the Noir Geo wings. Oh, thank goodness we're onto an easier game. Hopefully I never have to play Untitled Boxing Game ever again. Wink, wink. Anyway, next one I decided to do was Regretivator. In this one, this guy named Zach gives you a quest. All you have to do is survive 10 different floors, and then you get the token. However, this one was actually nerfed for some reason. They changed it from 10 floors to 7 floors. I don't know why. The quest was already easy as is. Like, you don't have to survive 10 of them in a row without dying. You just have to survive 10 of them. So yeah, this game basically just has you play the game for a good 20 minutes, 15 minutes. It's nothing crazy. It's just like Clip It and Infection Gunfight. They just make you play the game. It ain't all that bad. Personally, I had fun with it since I've actually never played the game before. It's a nice wacky elevator game to play with your friends. The next game I did was World Zero. This game has you completing a special hunt dungeon, which doesn't take that long to complete. It was honestly really easy. I feel like the part that took the longest was definitely the boss fight. However, if you use your abilities the correct way, then you can beat them pretty easily. But yeah, this game is basically just like your ordinary dungeon crawler game, where you go through different rooms and there's a whole bunch of enemies that you have to kill, and then there's a big boss at the end. You get the idea. But yeah, I did this one solo. I thought it was pretty easy to do solo. According to Connor, it's better to do it with other people if you're really low level, but I was like level 5 whenever I did this, so it wasn't all that bad. So yeah, you basically just kick this big old dragon's ass and then you get the token. It's really, really simple, but it's also very, very fun. The next one I did was Pressure. Now, I don't know why I held off on doing this one for so long. This is literally one of the best ones in the event. But yeah, this one was extremely fun and pretty scary. Think of this as Doors, but underwater. Basically, this quest has you following a Doors type thing, where you arrive at this place in a submarine and you have to go through this giant facility, which is like 40 doors long. And, yeah, and then you escape. You have to deal with 3 different monsters here. The one that you have to stare at, the big guy. There's one that you have to flash with the flashing light. And then there's one that you have to hide from. So, it's like Doors in a way, but I actually prefer this game over Doors. So, yeah, just me playing this event mode made me love this game to death and made me love it more than Doors. So that's saying a lot about this game. Once you make it to the end, you'll have to grab this token from the big guy, and then you'll get your submarine, and then you can escape. So yeah, decently challenging token, but it's not that bad. It's really fun. Alright, we're down to the final 5 regular tokens. So the next one I decided to do was Fish. This quest has you talking to this hippie at the spawn, and he'll give you some quests. Those quests are to catch 10 fish, open 2 bait crates, and talk to the Easter Bunny on Sunstone Island. So catching 10 fish is pretty easy. And so is opening 2 bait crates. They just require some money if you don't have some already. The final quest has you buying a boat and sailing all the way out to Sunstone Island to talk to the Easter Bunny. Once you do that, what you have to do is then sail back to Moosewood, aka the spawn, and then talk to the hippie again, and you get your token. It was really easy. Even for a beginner like me, this one's really easy. Next one I did was Hell's Kitchen. Wow, the Gordon Ramsay cooking show is in this event? That's crazy. That's exactly what I said as well. But that don't mean anything. This quest is severely easy. First thing you want to do is talk to Gordon Ramsay in the lobby, and then join a round and then basically just serve 5 dishes. But make sure you cook them nicely, or Gordon's gonna be mad at you. You know, for my first dish, I got a 70 score, and it still counted. So I don't really know what the lowest score you can get is, but yeah, once you're done with those 5 dishes, then you can just go back to the lobby and talk to Gordon again, and he'll give you your token. Alright, regular token number 23, Untitled Tag Game. Alright, so this one's pretty straightforward. All you have to do is collect 350 cash by tagging players and finishing rounds, or finding cash laying around in the maps. Now, like, the best mode to do this on is probably the freeze mode, since you can freeze a whole bunch of people pretty easily if you're a freezer, or you can unfreeze people if you're a runner. So yeah, this game basically just has you doing what most of the other games did, and just has you playing the game for a good 20 to 30 minutes. Nothing special, but does take a little bit. But the thing is, this game is actually fun, so it's not really an issue. However, the Mega Token is a lot better than the regular token, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. So, once you collect your 350 cash, you click on the hunt icon on the left, and then you claim your token by buying it from the mysterious guy. That's it. Alright, so the second to last game I decided to do here was Chained. Now, me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of 2-player obbies, and this one I actually didn't do with another person. I beat it myself, all by myself. How did I do that, you ask? Well, I just simply used an alt account on a different device. So I had to control them both at the same time at some parts, which was kind of tricky to do. But nonetheless, it was still very, very possible. So if you don't know what this game is, it's basically just a 2-player obby, and it's kind of like a copy of the game called Chained Together, which is pretty self-explanatory. You have 2 people who are chained together, so movement's a little bit restricted, which still does kind of make it a little bit difficult. So your objective here is to make it to the top of the Moai, and yeah, so this obby is 31 checkpoints long. It isn't that long, but it's still a little bit long if it takes you like 5-10 minutes on one stage. But if you breeze through it like I did, then it shouldn't be all that bad. But yeah, once you make it to the top of the Moai, then you hit the checkpoint and you get your token. Pretty easy, but it can be really difficult if your partner is a brainless moron. Before I do the final game, I had to stop by the Mega Edition Hub to pick up my Blank Antlers and my Noir Antlers. The last standard token that I had to get was from a Dusty Trip. Now, there's a reason I saved this one for last. From past experiences, these quests have always been a pain in the ass. However, this time it really wasn't all that bad. All you had to do was fight 3 bosses, and it wasn't that bad. They were pretty easy bosses, their attack patterns were pretty easy to learn. Like, first off, you have to fight like a lumberjack guy, and then the second boss you had to fight like a miner, and then you had to fight the Ice King guy, who's looking like he just came straight out of Adventure Time. But yeah, it's pretty simple. Once you beat the Ice King guy, that's it. Then you get the token. On the morning of March 15th, I joined the Hunt Hub to view my progress, and guess what? There's an event developer in my lobby. I didn't actually have to track one down and join one. They just joined my server, luckily. So that's a pretty good start to day number 3. Now you're probably wondering, hey, what else is there to do? You got all of the badges in the first 2 days. You already completed the event. Wrong. There is another token that you were able to get that I actually mentioned earlier in the video. That token being the Mega Token. Now, you're probably saying, where in the hell did these Mega Tokens come from, and what are they? Well, these Mega Tokens are basically the tokens you need to be qualified to win that $1 million. Now, if you noticed, the regular tokens were very, very easy. Most of them were very, very easy. But these mega tokens are hidden in every single game, just like the regular tokens. However, the game doesn't actually tell you where these are. The community has to find them themselves. You see, if the game told you where these were, then the event would be over in about 3 days. However, getting all 25 mega tokens and all 26 regular tokens, including the free one that you get at the beginning of the event, all of that took roughly 11 days. Reason why is because a group of mega tokens were released about every day. Doesn't make sense? Well, let me explain it. You see, at the beginning, around day 2, the first 2 or 3 mega tokens were found. Now, whenever you find the first mega token and you join the hunt lobby, there will be this event happen, kind of, where this little thing that you stand on sends you up into the air and takes you to this place called the Orb Zone. In that zone, there is a giant barrier that, when touched, tells you that you need 3 mega tokens to pass. Now, when you return to that place with all of the mega tokens that you needed, you will be prompted to do a puzzle. The puzzle's difficulty, whenever it's first unlocked, is normally on expert difficulty, and every few hours it would go down and make it a lot easier. Now, once you complete that puzzle, you'll be teleported to the other side of that barrier. And whenever you get teleported to the other side of the barrier, this door opens and you're able to unlock some UGC. Then you're able to teleport to the next zone. However, you won't be able to do the puzzle in the next zone or even enter the next zone directly. You see, whenever you do enter that next zone, there's going to be this giant timer above this door. Once that timer is up, the door will open and the next group of mega tokens are released. Then, once those are found, you're able to move forward into the zone and then do the puzzle and then get your UGC, move on to the next zone, and then wait about a day or so. Then go through, do your puzzle, get the mega tokens, do the puzzle, and get your UGC, so on and so forth. Now, the amount of mega tokens released every day would go up by 1. So, like the first day for the Orb Zone, you had to find 3. And the next zone, the next day, you had to find 4. The next zone, the next day, you had to find 5. So on and so forth until we reached the final zone. And once you make it through all those zones, you get teleported to a 6th zone titled the Mega Zone. This zone holds the grand prize for making it that far. Once Roblox kind of confirms the top 50 people that make it there, they get to earn this crown. I forgot the name of it, put it on the screen. But the top 10 people that make it there first are eligible to compete for that $1 million at Roblox HQ. Now, does it make a little bit more sense now? Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, somebody can explain in the comments. Hopefully. Please do. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So let's move on to our first mega token that we need to grab. Wait, scratch that. There's something I forgot to do first. Once I got my developer horns, I actually noticed that there were new variants to the items that I claimed. Those items being the Visor of Computable Knowledge, the Visor of Quantifiable Knowledge, the Hexro Mantle, the Enigmatic Hexro, the Omni Tech Pack, the Nova Tech Pack, the Fractal Wings, Geo Wings, the Droid Antenna Antlers, and the Droid Satellite Antlers. Alright, now let's get into the first Mega Token. So one thing I forgot to mention, you actually have to get these Mega Tokens in order. The first one that you have to get comes from SpongeBob Tower Defense, which was actually the first game I did for the regular tokens. So to start off this quest, you want to load into the Chummageddon map. You'll find these dig sites around the map, and you want to keep digging these up until you find a treasure map. Once you have this treasure map, you want to go to the trading hub, and then talk to the Dutchman. Then slide through the little grate in the ship, and then find the key to unlock the door to the maze. Once you get through the maze, you'll get to start this round of tower defense. And then you complete that. You go to the captain's quarters, which you previously snuck into, and then you take a look at the treasure map. That treasure map tells you that you need to go to the Uncharted Cave. The Uncharted Cave is located in the Chummageddon map. It's just hidden off to the side. Once you head into that uncharted cave, what you have to do to unlock the vault is dance in the glowing circle in the middle, and then the vault opens and you can open Davy Jones's locker to claim the first Mega Token. Man, that was a lot of steps, but this one isn't even the hardest one. This is only the first one, it just gets harder from here. Alright, so Mega Token number 2 comes from Untitled Tag Game. Now this is the Mega Token I was talking about that was really good. So to begin this one, all you have to do is load up into the Town Roads map and wait for the round to start. Now, it can start on any mode, it doesn't really matter. All you have to do is find that portal in that cave and then keep interacting with it until you get teleported. So you go through this cutscene and then you crash land into this prison cell. Then this guy wakes you up and starts talking to you for a while. Once he's done yapping, you'll be able to activate the terminal in front of you, and then you'll be able to pilot a drone. Now, using this drone, you'll have to inspect 6 prison cells. Once done, the dude will task you to smash open the window on the top of your cell to get a screwdriver. Once that screwdriver is grabbed, you want to head to the break room. Once there, you'll overhear somebody on the radio talking about you. Once they're done talking, then you'll be able to unscrew the vent in the break room and make your way to the reactor room where you'll find a lady. She'll basically tell you how to shut down the coolant system. Once she's done talking, you want to find a orange key card and make your way to the right side of the vents and open up the vent shaft. Once there, you'll want to use your key card on the door and then keep moving until you find another key card door. Once here, you'll want to activate 2 buttons which will redirect all the power to the train, allowing you to escape this section. Once you hop off the train, you'll want to find another key card door which leads you to a turbine room. Your objective for this room is to overload the turbines. How do you do that? Well, you just keep pressing the buttons until all the red bars turn green, and then click the button at the very front of the room to self-destruct. Once you make it out of the room, you'll be sucked through another wormhole, which will take you to this next section in like a void type area. Once in this void area, the character finally sees the Mega Token. But guess who he also sees? The creepy guy from earlier. So, going through with the deal from earlier, they race to be the first one to the token, and you're the one first to the token. So, after that cutscene, now you have to escape the facility by dodging lasers and avoiding obstacles until you finally bust out the building. Now here's the final part. What you have to do now is just escape the drones and make it to the end of this little course here, which some parkour here may be a little bit tricky for beginners, but luckily it tells you what to do. And yeah, then shortly after you finish this, then you go back through another wormhole and keep the token for yourself. And then you get the badge and the credits roll. Like I said, this is definitely one of my favorite ones in this event, but it was very easy. Last thing I did on day 3 was go to the orb zone. That's literally it. I watched the orb zone unlocking cutscene, and then I went up into the sky to orb zone, and I got the orb zone unlocked badge. The clock strikes 12 a.m. and my session for day 3 cuts into day 4. So I guess to begin day 4, we're doing Mega Token number 3, which comes from Pressure. Now I definitely say this is one of the harder ones, although I didn't have very much trouble with it. It's just pretty stressful in the latter half of the quest, which can end up leading to death. So to begin this quest, what you have to do is you have to walk around the lobby and find pieces of a code. Using those pieces of the code, you put them together, and then you save it for later. Then you want to start up a round of the event mode called The Hunted. You can do this solo or with friends, but I recommend doing it solo. Once you spawn in, you want to go up this staircase and then to the door to the right. Then take the next set of stairs and you should find a door. Now using the code that you got earlier, you'll want to use that to open this door. Once opened, you'll find a decoder on the desk to the left. Using this decoder, you'll have to decode these messages on these radios found throughout the mode. There are 5 radios you need to find, and they are scattered throughout the entire thing. Now, once you successfully decode the message, you'll get a little symbol on your decoder. Once again, those symbols will make up a code that you'll need for later. Once you make it to the end, you send away Big Man, then you'll be able to go through this door over here. Once you go through, you'll have to go down several flights of stairs. Once you make it down these stairs, you'll want to use your code that you got from your decoder and import those symbols into this keypad. Once you press on, you'll be able to find a train lying shortly up ahead. You'll have to turn on that train, and then you'll get teleported to this place called the Vault. Now, this is the part that I was talking about that's pretty stressful. So, there's this guy who's talking to you. He's kind of mad that you found this place, and basically, you're on his little game show. Once he's done talking, you'll shortly arrive here, and then you'll have to take the door to the left, and then here's where the fun begins. You'll have to find 30 shards of the Mega Token through these doors. You basically got to do the same thing that you did earlier, but you have to find shards, and you're on a bit of a time limit. While you have to find these shards, you have to deal with the big guy from earlier, and you'll have to deal with the other monsters too. But that's not all. The dude will actually make it a lot harder for you. He'll release poison gas, and you'll have to refill your oxygen tank every now and then. Also, a little bit further in, lava will start appearing on the floors, which, pretty self-explanatory, but you'll get damaged if you touch it. Once you make it to the end of all that, you'll be able to safely tread on to the vault. Once you make it inside, you're basically done. All you have to do is just keep walking forward, even though it keeps kind of restraining you, and then you'll be able to open up the capsule and grab the Mega Token. That's it. Next up, after Mega Token number 3, I decided to head back to Orb Zone and complete the block pushing puzzle. Once that was done, I was able to claim my Node rabbit ears and my Neo Novel rabbit ears. After that, I make my way to the block zone and get the block zone unlocked badge. Alright, so the 4th Mega Token actually comes from Chained. For this one, you and your partner both have to have all 3 Mega Tokens, and you both have to have the block zone unlocked. If you don't, then it simply won't teleport you to where you need to go. The place you and your partner need to go to is this glowing blue portal that's literally hidden in the mountainside. Now, both you and your partner have to traverse through this giant obstacle course, which can be confusing and quite difficult. If you're doing this with a random, it might be pretty difficult, but if you're doing it with an alt, which I don't know why you would, because that means you have to get the first 3 Mega Tokens again. But if you are for some reason doing it with an alt, then it should be pretty easy. So yeah, I'm just going to speed this clip up to about 8.5 times speed, and there's this one part, I think around here, where you and your partner both have to backtrack through the obby. Once you reach this bottomless pit that you can't cross, and you have to press this button multiple times in a row, and it's really weird, really confusing. I don't know how anybody figured this out. And then this next section coming up is literally just an RNG section, where your partner has to press like these buttons in a correct order, and you get like 4 lives to do it, and it changes every time you die, and it's really, really annoying. But once you understand how to do it, it's not that bad. And then you gotta ride this floating platform, make it to the other side, then cross this bridge. And then you have to find like 4 levers here. And whenever I actually played it, in this tutorial, the levers some of the levers were in different spots, because the devs actually changed the locations. But me and my partner ended up finding them. We thought the game was actually glitched, but it really wasn't. So glad I didn't have to redo all that. Anyway, your partner presses a button, you get transported on this floating platform to the other side, you press a button for them, and then they come over there. And then you do a little bit of parkour, you become chained together, and then you get through this section with the pink boxing gloves, and then you gotta run away from this boulder, Indiana Jones style. And then once you make it to the end, you'll be in this cutscene, and you'll get the token. Mega token number 5 comes from Rivals. So basically, you want to talk to the shady chicken again, and he'll just tell you that you did great. Then you want to head to the shooting range, and then you want to shoot these specific targets that have an X on them. They're kind of hard to spot, but once you shoot them all, a secret room will open. You enter that secret room, you go talk to the shady chicken again. He'll give you another quest. That quest being getting blueprints from kills in 3v3s. Once you get those 15 blueprints, you'll return back to the shady chicken. He'll give you another quest, kind of, but he'll ask you this question. Depending on which option you pick, that'll be the boss fight that you fight. Now, I actually chose the second option, Sensei and Co., because I felt like that fight was just a tad bit easier. Now listen, this quest for me was a literal nightmare. You want to know why? Well, I have one word for you. Internet. My internet around this time was terrible. It was not cooperating with me at all. I was probably running about 20,000 ping. 20,000 ping during the 3v3s wasn't all that bad, but during the boss fight, that is a problem. Because the boss has these rocket attacks that are extremely annoying to dodge, even with good internet. You basically just have to have precise movement during this part and absolutely destroy him with rockets. And once you run out of rockets, you'll have to use your Call of Duty ray gun to finish him off. Then you have to hide in one of these crevices in the wall, then go talk to the shady chicken again, and then you get your mega token. It's really not that bad. The only problem with this one is that if you have terrible, and I mean god-awful internet, then this one's going to be a nightmare. Now, I recently did this one again for a friend just to help him out, and the 3v3s and the boss fight went so much better. But yeah, this one was a lot easier than I previously thought. So, moving on to mega token number 6, which is way easier, actually. Mega token number 6 comes from the game Clip It. Yeah, you know, the TikTok game that I had to play earlier, which was also a nightmare. But, like I said, this one's pretty easy. All you have to do is solve 5 riddles by wearing certain avatar items and interacting with the golden cameras found in certain areas. So, for an example, I think like the second riddle has you going to the pizza place area, and it also has you wearing the cheese hat. So basically, there's like a feature in this game where you can edit your avatar, and you basically just want to put on the cheese hat and then go to the pizza place scene and then touch the camera, and then it gives you the next quest. Once you finish all 5 of those, you'll get your mega token. This is probably like literally the easiest one out of the entirety of the mega token catalog, but it still takes a little bit of time, but literally like the easiest one. I had no problem with this one. The final mega token that comes from the block zone wave of mega tokens is mega token number 7, which comes from World 0. Honestly, this one's also a piece of cake, at least in my opinion. Basically, this one has you finding a little area in the side of the mountain. There's gonna be like 3 buttons in there. You want to click, I think, the green button to spawn these gems around the map. Once you find all 3 of those gems, you want to head back, and then you want to press the blue button, which is on the left. Pressing the button will put numbers on the wall with different colors, those being pink, blue, and green. Basically, you want to add the colors with the same number together to form a code. And also, the blue button will also put symbols on the wall on the left side of the wall, and basically that's the order you'll put the numbers in. So for an example, you have 2 pink numbers that add up to 7, and we'll just say that the pink symbol is a flower. So if the flower is the first one in that little sequence, then that'll be your first number, and that goes for the other 2 numbers. Once you put together that code, basically now you'll want to put those gems in the right order, those being the same order that you put the code in, on the right after you click the pink button, and then you want to import that code that you figured out not that long ago into the little number pad thingy, and then you want to click the button to confirm that code, and then a portal will open. Once you enter that portal, you'll be teleported to a boss arena. Now, this boss is pretty similar to the first boss that you fought in the dungeon for the regular token, but I'd say it's a little bit harder since it has an insta-kill attack. But it's pretty easy to dodge, and its attack patterns are also pretty easy to understand after a while, so I think you'll get this done in no time. Once you defeat the boss, the Mega Token will show itself, and that Mega Token is now yours to claim. But like I said, that one was pretty easy for me because I know how to use my abilities to deal a whole lot of damage pretty fast. After I got my 4 Mega Tokens for the block zone, I returned to the block zone and I did the puzzle. Now this puzzle basically has you like push these blocks over these tiles, and then once you cover all the tiles with paint that the cubes give off, you're done. That's it. Probably one of the easier puzzles. But yeah, once I finished that puzzle, I made my way through the door and I claimed my UGC. The UGC I claimed this time around were the Node Armor Pauldrons and the Neo Novel Armor Pauldrons. The last thing I did before going to bed for the night was getting the Admin Horns and the Star Creator Horns, which now fully completes my launcher collection for this event. To begin and conclude Day 5, I went ahead and unlocked the Tile Zone. Yeah, that's literally all I did on Day 5. I know there were Mega Tokens found that day, but it was already like really late at night whenever they were found, so I decided to wait them off for Day 6. To begin Day 6, I ended up joining the Hunt Hub and unlocked the Puzzle 1 and Puzzle 2 Complete badges. Now, I already did these badges like 1 or 2 days ago, so why am I getting these badges now? Well, these badges were actually made a little bit later. For whatever reason, I don't really know. So, the first Mega Token on Day 6 comes from a Dusty Trip. Now this one honestly is so much easier than the regular token in my opinion. All you have to do is drive down this road for a little bit until you see this like stone structure. Then once you're there, you just want to find batteries around the obby and like bring them up to the top and then form them into a portal. I know it sounds really weird, but once you find all 11 and bring them up to the top, then you can begin the boss fight. Now, while you're bringing those batteries up to the top, the batteries will actually start beeping. Now you want to periodically put them down, or if you don't, if you hold on to them for too long, they will explode, and that's not good. So, as I was saying, once you place all 11, this little cutscene will play, and then you will get sucked into the portal, which will take you to this wasteland type area, and it'll begin a boss fight. Now, the cool thing about this quest is that, I don't know if many people actually caught this, but the characters Tim and Dr. Time actually come from another one of Jandel's games, which is the person who made this game. It comes from another Jandel game, which is called Time Travel Adventures. It was like a camping fan game, and it was literally like one of the best ones out there at the time. And if you don't know what a camping game is, where have you been? Okay, those were really popping in like 2019, 2020. But nostalgia aside, this boss fight isn't too difficult. You just really have to memorize his attack patterns, and there's literally 2 fights that you have to do here, both with 3 phases, but they're really not that difficult to learn. And once you defeat the boss, you'll get your Mega Token. Pretty easy. Mega Token number 9 comes from Infection Gunfight. Now, whenever I was talking about Infection Gunfight earlier on in the video, whenever I was discussing the standard tokens, I did mention that this game was in some drama. That drama was literally about the Mega Token quest for this game. Now, luckily, this game did get nerfed like a day later, which is kind of the reason why I saved the Mega Tokens for the Tile Zone for the next day, but I didn't actually know how bad this game was before I actually checked out the tutorial for it. But essentially what you have to do here is you have to find a pair of goggles hidden around a map. Any map. They could be anywhere on any map. Now they're guaranteed to spawn on any map, but I think the locations are random, so it's a little bit harder to find. Once you get those goggles, here's the hard part. So once you get those goggles, you'll see these like letters float around zombies and other players. What you want to do is you want to spell the word mega. Now originally, pre-nerf, you had to spell mega hunt. But luckily the nerf shortened it down to just mega, so it was a lot easier. Also, before the nerf, you had to complete every part of this in one match. So essentially 5 pretty short rounds. So to get those letters I was talking about earlier, you have to damage the player enough, and you'll see the letters pop up in the top left of your screen. And you want to make sure you get these letters in order, or else you're going to have to restart the entire process. Also, pre-nerf, there are actually more letters around the zombies than just the letters from the word mega. So there would be more than just the MEGA. There would be like K's, C's, B's, Z's, X's, and it just made it a lot harder. And essentially, the letters that you would need, they just wouldn't spawn. Luckily, they did change it to make only the M, the E, and the G, and the A spawn, but it's still pretty tough, post-nerf. Even after the nerf, it was still really annoying, because it was still really annoying to grab the right letter that you needed. The main problem with this is just getting them in the right order. Because what the zombies love to do in this game is they love to target every single survivor in groups. So you'll have clusters of zombies with different letters all around you, and it would be really annoying. And you also had to be extremely careful on which zombie or player that you hit, because it is very easy to hit some other player with some other letter. Hitting that player will then have you doing this all over again, which doing the same thing over and over again is never fun. It's the main reason I get mad at these types of things. But anyway, according to the community, this is literally like the worst quest in the entire event, and I totally agree. Mega token number 10, which comes from Basketball Legends, isn't any better than Infection Gunfight. I'd say it's just as annoying, but a little less annoying. You see, so the beginning of this quest has you going to the My Park area. Then it has you clicking this lever in the Hall of Fame building, and then these little shapes spawn with numbers around the map. You want to find these to form like a little sequence. Once you find every part of this sequence, then you want to go to the specific court, and then you want to step on the shapes in the correct order, which you got from that sequence that you put together not that long ago, and you basically just want to make a shot while standing on those. Once you make all 3 shots correctly, then you'll be teleported to this boss fight type area, where you have to face off against the same NPC that you went up against in the regular token quest. Which, as I said earlier, that dude is cracked at basketball. But instead of it being a 4v1 this time around, it's just a 1v1. It's just you and nobody else against the cracked NPC. And he is extremely difficult to beat. If you actually fail this section, then you have to do the shapes on the court stuff again. The aim of this boss fight is to score more points than NPC. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it's really difficult if you are terrible at this game. So in order to make shots in this game, it doesn't really depend on where you aim. It just depends on how well you time it. You see, so when you click like the E button on the PC, which I did this on PC, once you hold the E button down, there will be this like timing bar that pops up on your screen. Your goal is to get that bar up as high as possible. The higher the bar, the more accurate the shot. And the badge for this one is literally called Sharpshooter. So basically, it kind of gives you a hint. You cannot miss a single shot here, or you're toast. And it took me a minute to get used to the timing. After like 15 times of doing the boss fight, I ended up getting the mega token. It sure did take a little bit, but I feel like it was still just as annoying as Infection Gunfight. But you could just say I have a skill issue in the comments. I don't care. If you're just getting into this game, then you're gonna have a very tough time when it comes to this one. Hey, guess what, everybody? I'm happy to inform you that we have reached another easy mega token. Mega token number 11, which comes from Metro Life. I mean, could you really expect a mega token to be hard from a roleplay game? Come on. But to be fair, this is a pretty long one, so I'll try and make it quick. You basically want to start off by going to the mayor's area and then going to talk to him. I don't know why he's so small, but he really is for some reason. Anyway, he gives you a little bit of a quest here where you have to go help out 3 people at different spots on the map. Each person you help will give you a piece of the map. Once you get all 3 map pieces, you return back to the mayor and he'll give you another quest. He'll basically put the map together for you, and you have to go to these different spots on the map, labeled as colors. Now, you find like these notes on the wall at those locations, and they'll have a number with the color that you went to. Now you want to do this for all 4 locations, and you want to keep notes. After you find all 4, you want to head to this patch of grass on the side of Fresh Bites and pull out the shovel tool, and then dig up around right here, and you'll find a safe. Now, using those numbers from earlier, you basically want to import those numbers into the correct spots. So for an example, if your number for red was like 7, then you want to click the red button 7 times. And if your green number was like 2, you want to click that 2 times, and you want to do that for every single number until the safe opens and you collect your time capsule, which has the mega token inside. Alright, the final mega token for the tile zone, aka mega token number 12, comes from Hell's Kitchen. Oh boy, the GOAT Gordon Ramsay returns once again for another easy quest. So basically, you just want to load into a round of the main game, and then you want to look up at the ceiling and take a screenshot or memorize that light pattern. Now once you've done all that, you want to head back to the lobby and go to the secret basement in the top right of the map. Once you enter there, you'll be put into the secret basement, of course, and then you want to input that light pattern into the monitors. Once that's done, this door will open, and then Gordon will tell you to chase this guy. In order to chase the guy, you actually have to do a quick little obby, which doesn't take that long, and it's not that difficult. Luckily, if you fall, you just go back to the start. Once you finish, you'll enter this vent, which takes you back to the main area of the basement, and Gordon will tell you that his special recipe went missing. Now you want to find these like 4 pieces of the recipe around the map and the main game. Once you found all 4, you want to wait till dinner service comes around, and this special cutscene will play with this food critic. Here you're tasked to cook a beef Wellington, but make sure to cook it well because you have to get a score of 130 or more. Well, luckily, the cooking in this game isn't that hard to do, so you'll probably get it done on your first try. Just be quick and try to be as accurate as possible. Once the food critic accepts your beef Wellington, you want to return to the lobby and go back to the basement. Once there, you'll go back to the storage room and return the recipe to where it belongs. However, scary creepy guy comes back and locks us in the storage room. So, in order to get out, we need to climb up these shelves and mess with this power box to open up the door. Once you get out, we find the scary dude at the monitors, and guess what? The scary guy turns out to be the food critic. He thought the beef Wellington was so good that he wanted to steal the recipe for himself. And then he gets locked up into the vault, and we get a Scooby-Doo awe ending, and then we get our mega token. Pretty easy. Now it's time to finally return back to the tile zone, finish the puzzle, and claim my UGC. Here I got the Puzzle 3 badge, and I got the Corrupt TV, and the Mecha Mr. Robot hat. The door to the beam zone unlocks, and now I get my badge for unlocking the beam zone. The hunt for the Beam Zone Mega Tokens begins with Mega Token number 13, which comes from Arsenal. Now, I briefly talked about this one earlier in the video whenever I was talking about Arsenal's standard token, but yeah, this one's pretty sweet as well. So in this room, you want to look up, you want to shoot that target with your pew-pew gun. Then this thing will happen. After this glitchy thing's done, then you'll have to turn these valves in the right directions. Now, the right directions for the valves are literally on the wall. It's like impossible to mess this up. Once that's done, you'll head through the secret passageway into this laboratory. You'll want to go into this room, and then it'll tell you exactly what you're supposed to do here. Now, I'm briefly going to talk about this entire quest because this quest is really, really long. So essentially, you want to go to the Fizz Lab here, and you want to build yourself a helmet, basically, with a bunch of different pieces. Then you want to go into the Chem Lab and follow the instructions carefully to make the right solution with the potions. Then you want to place the solution into the freezer, take it out, and then put it on the helmet. Next, you'll put on the helmet, and then you'll be transported into an RPG game world. In here, it's basically literally just an RPG game, like Pokemon or Final Fantasy. Defeat the enemies with certain attacks, and you should make it to the end. You basically just follow the simple storyline. And this never really gets that challenging either. You'll unlock new party members along the way, which makes battles a lot easier. Not to mention you can find hidden items to help you through your battles, so that's a plus. You'll know you're at the end once you reach this military base and you fight this giant tank. The end of this quest actually has you getting cornered by these tanks and being captured. What a sad ending. Once the credits begin to roll, you should be able to get your Mega Token in no time. Mega Token number 14 comes from Natural Disaster Survival. To begin this one, you just want to join around on any map, it doesn't matter, on any disaster. Then you want to talk to this NPC guy, and he'll give you a quest. He also tells you that there's a secret lab under the lobby. And that's where the main part of this quest takes place. So you want to just die, go back to the lobby, and then enter that secret lair that the dummy was talking about. Once there, you'll find a room up the stairs that has 4 different simulations of different maps. Those maps being Arch Park, Launchland, Modest Headquarters, and Heights School. Now essentially, those buttons that are on those little simulations activate different disasters. You basically want to go to each of those maps and talk to the dummy there. He'll end up giving you a hint, and with that hint, you have to guess which disaster he's referring to. Whichever disaster you think he's referring to, you want to activate that disaster on that specific map simulation. Anyway, once you do that for all 4 of them, you want to join another round on any map on any disaster, and talk to the dummy again. Now, this is literally, like, the saddest thing, like, I've ever experienced in my entire life. You talk to the dummy, he's able to move, but then he fucking dies. He fucking dies. He was just able to move for the first time in a long time. And then he just dies. But at least killing him gives you the Mega Token, so I don't really care. Mega Token number 15 comes from Eat the World. Okay, before I get into this one, this was literally one of the most annoying ones that I did in the entire event. Like, it's almost on par with Untitled Boxing Game. Yeah, I said it. I said it. This one is on par, almost on par, with Untitled Boxing Game. This one almost made me break my keyboard because of how annoying the final section is. But luckily the first section isn't all that bad, so let's talk about it. So to begin this quest, you want to find this tan button on one of the walls. Here's what it looks like. Now I don't exactly know if it's in the same spot for everybody, but this is also where it was for me. So you click that button, and then you want to open up the hunt menu on the left. Next you want to look for the 4 arrows that are on the top of the pop-up. With these arrows, you want to play a memory game, kind of like Simon Says. Once you complete that one, you'll need to visit this cave. that holds a mystical egg. You'll find it after doing a tiny little maze and breaking down this door with a part of the world by throwing that piece at the wall. Once you arrive in there, you'll find the mystical purple egg. What you want to do is you want to pick up this egg and then take it all the way to the giant noob that you had to feed in the regular token quest and feed him this egg. Once you start approaching him, he'll start smiling like a happy, hungry boy. Once you throw the egg at him and he eats it, he will be actually disgusted. He'll make this funny face, and then he'll have you teleported to the egg hunt lobby from 2012. Once here, it looks really freaking creepy. So you head down this way with the tracks, head up the stairs, to the left, more stairs, and even more stairs until you reach this section. Here, a cutscene will play showing you where the Mega Token is. The Mega Token is all the way up that mountain. Now, essentially, you're just supposed to run up there, find a path, and get there. However, there's this giant world-devouring egg that chases you the entire way, and has an incredibly fast spawn rate. This is the final section I was talking about. Do you see why it's annoying? Yeah, it even destroys the stairs, which makes it way harder to get up to where you have to go. And guess what? You have to get all the way up to this bridge for your first checkpoint. Your first and only checkpoint through this entire thing. Now, I know it doesn't look all that bad to you. Oh, it's so easy. What are you talking about, man? Yeah, well, guess what? Whenever the egg starts destroying this bridge, look at how much space you have to stand on. Alright? And then you go through this part. Oh, it looks pretty easy. It destroys literally everything in your path. So you go through this little waterfall section, and then you reach the stairs. Luckily, the egg doesn't destroy every single stair. It leaves you like 1 or 2 stairs to stand on. Anyway, you got multiple flights of stairs here. You got that flight, then you got this flight right here. Takes you up even further. Then this is probably the most annoying part for me anyway. You make it through this section pretty long way. You take this next staircase. Even more stairs. Keep it coming, more stairs, and more stairs, and then you finally reach the end, and the egg stops chasing you. Now listen, this one wouldn't be so hard if the egg spawn rate wasn't fucking like a millisecond. If it was like a second or two, then it would be so much easier, and that mixed with my terrible internet at the time, yes, my internet was bugging for this one too, it was a total pain in the ass. Oh, but luckily, Mega Token number 16, which comes from Car Crushers 2, is a lot easier. So for this one, you gotta start off by going to the OG Destruction Facility. This place is going to have a key role in this quest. Anyway, you go there, you go down the stairs, you run into this wall, the secret door opens, and a key is required for this terminal. How do you get the key? Well, guess what? You gotta play a derby and wait till the end, and then you have to click the key, which is like right by a curtain in a cutscene, and you can use that key to unlock the terminal. Once you unlock the terminal, you should notice these glowing red dots. I don't know how you're not going to notice those, but those basically have symbols next to them which represent crushers. Now you want to go back to the new destruction center and do all of the crushers on row 1. Now there's 2 red dots which won't activate for some reason. There's one where you have to go outside the map and do the landslide crusher, and then there's one where you have to go back to the OG destruction center and do that freezer crusher, and then you should have it. Once you have all those crushers done, you can head back to the secret room, and you should be able to open up the secret vault and get your Mega Token for this game. This one's pretty easy, but it just takes a little bit of time. But I feel like the crushers definitely make up for it, because these crushers are pretty sweet. Next up is Mega Token number 17, which comes from Blade League. Now this one I didn't have very much trouble with. It was just finding the code that took a really long time. So in order to find this code, you want to queue into 1v1s, and then basically you want to load into 1v1s on every single map and look around for floating numbers. These numbers will only appear in 4 of the, 8 maps. And it's actually random for everybody, so if you watch a tutorial, those numbers aren't going to be in the same maps as that person. So you really have to go through every single map unless you find all 4 of them before getting to the final map. But anyway, once you find all those, you want to put the code together, input that code on the keypad at spawn, and then you can begin a boss fight. What is up with this event in boss fights? Like seriously, we've had like 20 of them so far. Anyways, this boss fight isn't really that difficult, although it is a little bit unfair, but it's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. Like, this dude has like infinite speed boost. Like, he can hit stuff like as fast as possible. As you'll see in this clip, you'll understand what I mean. Like, he literally spams the ball. He spams it. Like, look at him go. He darts after the ball, which is kind of unfair, but like, all you really have to do is run through him while passing the ball, and it's really easy. Sometimes he'll freeze the ball, just make sure that you time it correctly. So yeah, once you beat him, you should get your mega token, and that's it for this game. Pretty easy, yet kind of difficult. Alright, we finally made it to the final mega token for the beam zone. Mega token number 18, which comes from Bayside High School. Yeah, you know, the Crossy Road game. Anyway, the majority of this quest doesn't actually have you doing the Crossy Road until like the very end. So you want to equip the camera tool, and then you want to take a picture of the camera right here in this principal's office, I think. Then this piece of dialogue will pop up. Now, that's basically what this quest is. You do these useless tasks to open up this bunker outside. Next, you want to head over to the teacher's lounge and make yourself a coffee. Once you got that coffee, you want to take that coffee upstairs to the science room. Now, I don't know what the hell Connor's doing here, because I did not have to do this for my dialogue to pop up. But all you have to do is drink the cup of coffee right in front of the whiteboard, and then your next piece of dialogue should appear. Next, you want to grab the black light that just appeared out of fucking nowhere, and then you want to take that to the playground. Take that black light to this exact spot at the playground, and this key icon should pop up. Next, you want to pull out the pencil tool and the Go Team board tool. Now, once again, you don't have to do this bullshit that Connor's doing. He's changing the picture on the board. You don't really have to do that. Just pull out the whiteboard and type in 247, and then your next dialogue should appear. Now go to the music room and then hop on the piano and type in dead, or spell dead with the keys. Once that's done correctly, your next dialogue should appear. Now you want to go all the way to the Bayside Pizzeria and get yourself a pizza. Once you have that pizza, you're going to go all the way back to the math room. And now Connor's doing his bullshit again, where he's changing the picture on the screen. Now, I actually did do this one because the tutorial I watched actually told me to do this, but even the dude who did the tutorial didn't even know if you were supposed to do it. So I don't know if it's right. So anyway, you put the pizza on top of the calculator, and then you're done. That is literally it for the first section. Now you want to go outside the school and enter the bunker. Once you arrive, Connor does his bullshit again and does some useless stuff. Like, no offense, Connor, but you didn't have to do half of these steps. Like, you didn't have to change any of the pictures besides maybe the math room one, so I don't even know. So you sit in this chair right here, and then you use the fucking fart emote. That's literally it. You sit in this chair, and you basically just shit your pants. Once you successfully shit your pants, a cutscene will begin, and you will get sucked back into Crossy Road. Woohoo! But now, this time, you cannot take your time. Now you have a fucking mutant principal chasing after you, and you have to touch these bombs on the way to damage him 5 times in order to defeat him. Once you damage them 5 times, you'll get the Mega Token, and that's it. You have gotten the first 18 Mega Tokens, and now you can get the next UGC and do the Beam Zone puzzle. Oh yeah. Ooh, man, I bet you weren't expecting a giant transition to day number 8. Yeah, well, unfortunately, my session for day 7 got cut off because the clock struck 12 a.m. once again. That's not a problem. Day 8 is going to be literally one of the shortest days in the entire challenge, you could say, because this shit is mentally challenging me. So yeah, it is a pretty big challenge for me. Anyway, once I arrived back at the Beam Zone, I decided to do the puzzle and then get my UGC. Now the puzzle for this one is like a little electric current puzzle where you have to like change these mirrors to reflect it to the little end box. It's one of these puzzles, if you get what I'm saying here. But anyway, it wasn't all that difficult, so I went ahead and moved on into the door, and I got my UGC. The UGC I got this time around was the Light Edge Sword and the Gilded Edge Sword. And then that was literally all I did for day 8. The door to the next zone, which is the Shape Zone, didn't unlock until the next day. Therefore, I couldn't really do anything. So, that's the end of day 8. This is it. This is the day that the final wave of Mega Tokens release. I waited for the door for the Shape Zone to unlock, and it was on. The final Mega Tokens have been released. This is the end. So whenever that door unlocked, I got the Shape Zone Unlocked badge. Oh, and also I got the Puzzle 4 badge because, once again, like the Puzzle 1 and 2 badge, they didn't add it until later. So, way to go, Roblox. Mega Token number 19 comes from Regretivator. Alright, so let me get this out the way. This is literally the only Mega Token quest I did for day 9, and I'll explain a little bit later on why. So, first things first, you want to click this button behind this TV in the lobby. Once that's done, Zach, the dude who gave you the regular token quest, will start talking. He'll basically give you another quest. He'll basically tell you that you need to find 4 notes on 4 different floors. Pretty easy, actually. Some of them are hidden pretty well, which is good. We don't want them to be found so easily. So once you're done with finding those 4 notes, you want to return back to the lobby and find 4 floppies. Now these 4 floppies are actually hidden pretty damn well. You really just have to look actually everywhere, and you gotta go up to like every single object in the lobby. But luckily I didn't have to do that because I used the guide. So once you find those 4 floppies, you want to go to your floppy menu and then basically just decode those floppies. Once you decode all 4 floppies, each floppy should have 2 numbers, which adds up to 8 numbers in total. Put the numbers in order and you should be able to get a code. Now you want to go up to this secret area in the lobby through this vent and interact with this locked box. Now you want to import that code into the locked box, and then you'll get your Mega Token. It's honestly pretty easy. I didn't have any trouble with this one. This is probably literally like the easiest one out of all of the ones in Wave 5. But yeah, I had fun with this one for sure. Mega Token number 20 comes from Tower Defense Simulator. So I'm actually not going to talk about this one very much. It's honestly so similar to the regular token quest, there's really no point in explaining it all again. Alright, but first, like I promised, I should probably tell you why I kind of held this one off for day number 10. I honestly didn't mean to. I honestly was going to do this one before 12, but I didn't. So the thing is, I actually did do this one like right after Regretivator. The only problem is I tried it and I got about halfway through the event mode and my game crashed. I bet you could feel that pain. You know, low-end PC users, you probably already know that pain. The game crashing in your most important moments. But yeah, the game crashed because I think I used too many goddamn railgun tanks, which is very key to beating the mode. But yeah, that's why. I kind of rage quit for a while, and I took a giant break, and I didn't realize that it was 12, or past 12, until I checked the time. So, my apologies, chat. Alright, back to the quest. So, literally, you just go in this little area here, you go up to this terminal, and you type in the code Red Cliff Falls. And then you click Done. The Deathwalker awaits, and guess what? You gotta do the event mode all over again, but on a different mode called Mega Mode. There is basically no difference, except that the final boss has more health. And maybe enemies in general have more health. I don't know. It's basically the exact same thing. The devs were lazy as shit when it comes to this quest. I'm not complaining about it. So yeah, I got this one done. It wasn't all that bad. So, next game. Mega token number 21 comes from Pet Simulator 99. Now this quest is literally the most confusing thing ever. Way more confusing than Bayside High School. So yeah, you enter the raid area again and you start a raid. Now, I did this on difficulty 9 just like Connor, but guess what? I think it just has to be above level 2, I don't know. Just put on the highest level if you're really good at this game. I don't know. Anyway, you just want to make your way through the raid, and you just want to keep looking out for a mysterious key. You'll get the mysterious key randomly when breaking breakables. If you don't get it on your first run through, then you'll have to do it again. If you don't get it on the next one, you have to get it again. Or do it again. So on and so forth, until you get the key. Then, once you get the key, you want to go to the room that has 4 houses. Once you're there, you'll want to unlock one of the houses. Then it'll ask you for a secret code. That secret code being knock knock. Yes, this took like 2 hours for players to find. Anyway, once you're in there, there'll be like fucking nothing. So then you want to go to the room with all the runes, and then you want to click these specific ones that Connor's showing right now. I'm too lazy to actually explain because it's kind of hard to explain. So this entire quest is really hard to explain. Anyway, just do what Connor did right there. Then you want to go back to the house that you unlocked earlier, and then you'll find this pot of gold if you did everything correctly. Now once you touch that pot of gold, it'll tell you that you're not lucky enough. Then what you want to do is you want to click every single shamrock in the room with the 4 houses and the room that came before it. Yeah, every single shamrock. Have you seen how many shamrocks are on this map? Just in the 4 houses room, you can see that there is over 10. This raid area was decorated with too many goddamn shamrocks. Anyway, once you come back and you touch the pot of gold, it should tell you that you are now lucky enough and you'll get your mega token. Yeah, this one makes no sense. Okay, so like I said earlier, like you have to click on these runes and shamrocks. Well, guess what? There's no click indicator, so you don't even know what you're if you're clicking it correctly. If you put your mouse over it, there will not be a clicky cursor. It'll just be a regular old boring ass cursor. There's no click detection on these things that you have to click, which is ridiculous. And it's even harder to do on mobile because you don't know if your fat fingers will miss the target or not. So, yeah. There's my little mild crash out about this one. This one's bullshit. But yeah, it didn't actually take me that long to do. I just had to click the shamrocks all over again because apparently I missed one. So, yippee! Next game, please. This wave of mega tokens has not been fun to do at all. So far. Fuck this game. Mega token number 22 comes from Drive World. Oh boy, do I love this game. This game decided to test my patience to the max. So first things first, you want to teleport to the bottom left of the map to this certain spot. Once there, you'll want to touch this clear looking ball here. And then, what you want to do is you want to push this big purple ball all the way across the map to that area right here. Oh my god, you did not have to put the goddamn thing all the way over there. Why are you making us push this fucking ball with wonky ass physics all the way across the map? Yeah, I've got to know. I have got to know. This fucking quest is bullshit. This is one of the worst things I've ever had to do for an event ever. Could you not have made anything more clever? I would much rather do one of your fucking retarded ass obbies than do this shit 20 times in a row. Even once, actually. This is stupid. Why do you have to do this? And the ball is so easy to lose. Like, look, Connor just fucking pushed it over the bridge. Luckily, he was able to get it back. But what the hell, man? Why do you have to push this all the way to the Sierra Desert? Like, bro, you're just pushing this shit into a fucking hole that's located in the Sierra Desert. And that's not all. I feel like just doing this would be good enough. You're here for a good 20 fucking minutes just to push this across to the goddamn desert. So you want to keep pushing this ball all the way over to the fucking desert, like I said 20,000 times, and then you want to put it in this hole, pause, and then you can begin the next step. Not that the first step wasn't hard enough. Anyway, you make it there after 20 years, and you gotta push the ball up this ramp and into the little slot, or the hole that's right here. Once that's done, a keypad will spawn in front of the vault, and now you have to go around the map and teleport and find 4 different pieces of the code. Once you've found those and inputted them into the keypad, you are finally able to grab your golden mega token. Buddy, the mega token isn't even gold. It's fucking black and white. Why'd you make it gold? Yeah. If you couldn't already tell, this game was a pain in the ass for me to do, and I hate this fucking game. This game does not deserve to be in events ever again. The pain never ends, does it? We just went from Hellish Drive World, and now we're back to this bullshit. Mega token number 23 comes from Untitled Boxing Game. Oh man, we're back in this hellhole. Great, I am so happy to be back here after so long. Just fucking kidding, because this quest is stupid as well. First things first, you want to go back of this giant fucking piece of land and then climb up this rope. I don't know why this is here, but it is. You climb up the rope and you're tasked to do this terminal minigame thingy where you gotta match up the color to the word. Yep, here's an example of the minigame. It's not that difficult. It is a little bit fast-paced because you're on a time limit, but it's alright, I guess. Once you finish that minigame, you now claim Happy Mod hacks, and now you are able to infinitely dash into the fucking void. Now the screen gets a little bit darker, and then a fake pop-up will appear saying that you are banned from the game. I would be so happy if you guys banned me from this game, so that means I would never have to do something like this again. So you just keep pressing the white buttons until you get teleported to this next spot, which is... I don't even know what this quest is anymore. Like, how did this go from a fucking boxing game to some cryptic creepypasta? I don't understand. But now you're in this invisible obby where your vision is very limited, so you can barely see where you're jumping here. And I'm just gonna speed this clip up for a bit because this goes on for a very long time. So first you gotta do these basic jumps, and then you gotta carefully maneuver your fat ass through the goddamn lava, and then you gotta do this tightrope maze, which is pretty annoying because there's a lot of dead ends. And then you gotta go this way and then jump onto this blind platform, do more tightrope shit. Then you reach these bouncy platforms, which is extremely hard to pass, by the way, because of how high they bounce you and your limited vision. And then you just fall off the map, and then you do another terminal game. You already know how this minigame works, as I've previously showed you. Now you get your Happy Mod hacks back, and then you gotta maneuver your way through these lava walls until you reach this void thingy. Then you can grab the mega token. Wow, that was fucking easy. Holy shit, what a win for me. Oh, guess what? No, you gotta fight a boss fight. Oh my goodness, and he's got a sword just like Raven's third phase. Oh man. I like to think of this as the final boss of the hunt, because this motherfucker is powerful as shit. His first phase definitely gave me the most trouble, but his second and third phases I felt like were a lot easier once I got a hold of the strategy. Now my Raven strategy that I used previously is not going to work here. I have a new strategy, okay? So, I continue using the Epo style like I did with Raven, okay? Now, for this fight, I actually relied on perfect dodges. If you don't know what those are, that's when time slows down and you can actually hit the boss for a pretty good deal of damage. I just hit a lot of those and I was able to thankfully beat the Void Man. And that was my final hurdle for this event. The rest of the event will be actually very easy. We got all the difficult shit out of the way. Now we're on to Mega Token number 24. We are so close to the end here, folks. Ah, finally, I could stop crashing out over these stupid quests. Thankfully, It Girl's quest is a lot easier than the previous 3 that I had to do. So, Mega Token number 24 comes from It Girl. I actually really enjoyed this quest. I thought it was pretty good for one of the final games to do. First things first, you want to spawn in the lobby and grab this remote control. Then you want to find 3 batteries around the lobby and the dressing room. Now I'm pretty sure these are all in different areas. I'm not sure, but they'll probably be in different spots for everybody. Anyways, once you get all 3, you want to use the remote just out in the open. And then you want to keep switching channels until you reach the breaking news channel, which will activate a long-ass cutscene. Now, I was at the very end of this event. I had no time to watch these shitty cutscenes, so I went ahead and skipped it. I couldn't tell you what happens in it because I just skipped it. And then you basically spawn in this laboratory and you find this other woman, a scientist. So she tells you to pick up this thing on the ground, and then your main thing to do here is solve puzzles and put together this little ray gun. Once you fully build the ray gun, you can go to this boss fight against a giant heart. You want to keep damaging this heart until you're able to use the computers. The computers will have you do these mini games, which will release these robots, which were people turned into robots, and then the robots change back into the humans. You save the humans, and that's it. Wow, that was a pretty fun one to do. Honestly, I had no issues with this one. This one was just a really fun adventure. Really easy. Alright guys, time for the moment you've all been waiting for. Mega Token number 25. This one comes from Fish. You know, for the final Mega Token, I really wasn't expecting to do this game. I was expecting something more like Untitled Boxing Game, but honestly, I gotta say, this is a pretty good one to end off on. The quest isn't too hard, it's not too easy, it's just right in my opinion. So first things first, you talk to this guy near the lighthouse, he gives you this quest. That quest has you going to the Temple of Cthulhu. Yeah, you know, the mythical creature? Alright, well anyway, you gotta go to Terrapin Island, and you'll find this little puzzle that you have to do that opens up the temple. The bad thing about this puzzle is that you only have 45 seconds to do it, so it's a little bit challenging, but the puzzle itself is pretty damn easy. Once you enter the temple, you'll be tasked to do a maze. Now the maze is a little bit tricky. It took me a little while to do it. Main reason why is because you have limited oxygen in here, so it's pretty easy to die. But thankfully, instead of going all the way back to Moosewood, you just go back to the beginning of the temple. So, better than going all the way back to Moosewood, huh? Once you make it through, you'll want to equip your flimsy rod if you have another rod equipped, and you want to fish in this little pond here for 8 different species of fish. Now, what you want to do with those 8 fish is put them into the slots on that door that Connor just showed. Problem is, you have to put it in a certain sequence. Of course, basically every single one of these quests has you put something in a certain sequence. And this is probably one of the more confusing sequences to put together, but it really isn't all that difficult. Once you have your 8 different fish, you want to do this tiny little obby on top of these, I think, mega tokens, and then you'll reach the head of Cthulhu. Now, the thing is, he'll give you this sequence of music notes, and you want to write these down. These music notes will help you with the sequence. So, how do we know which fish correspond to which note? Well, it's pretty easy. If you're not blind, you probably saw that giant fucking jukebox in front of the pond. Basically, you want to hold out one of your fish and interact with the jukebox, and it'll give you this specific note. Now, that music note will basically tell you the sequence. You want to do that for all 8 of the fish, and then, once you get that sequence, put the fish into the correct order in the door, open up the vault, grab the mega token after the cutscene, and then head back to Moosewood, talk to the guy near the lighthouse, and you're done. That's the final mega token in the Hunt Mega Edition. Man, what a cool one to end off on. I really had fun with this one, had no issues. Now, it's time for me to return back to the shape zone for the final time, and then do the puzzle. Here's the badge. But wait, what's happening? I'm being teleported to the Mega Zone, where I will claim my UGC, my final UGC. The UGC I'm unlocking this time around, and probably for the final time, is the Cape of Fragmentation and the Cape of Refraction. But wait, I have to claim my 2 grand prizes. Those prizes being the Diadem of Resurgence and the Arcs of Resurgence. And that's it. That's the end to the Hunt Mega Edition. That being said, I have officially 100% of the event. There's nothing else I could possibly do. But wait, there is one more thing I have to do. Alright man, you faked us out twice now. What else do you have to do in this goddamn event? Well, there's literally one last thing I need to do. So, on March 23rd, at approximately 3 p.m. EST, something happened in the Hunt Hub, and this little thing happened where a new free UGC was released, called the Hexanovel Overlay. As you can see, once that thing exploded, the UGC appeared. So, all you really have to do is just walk over there and claim it. There's no bling version or anything, it's just a free UGC for everybody to claim, since a lot of people contributed in getting the mega tokens. So, yeah, that's actually the end of the event now. No more fake outs. So, now, let me give you my thoughts on the event before I head out. Alright, so, for my thoughts on the event. As you know, I crashed out multiple times in this video. However, my feedback for this event is actually quite positive. Unlike some of the earlier events in 2024, Roblox actually put some pretty good effort into this one. I gotta say, the game selection was probably the best that we've had, like, yet. My only complaint with this event is that a few of the quests were a little lackluster, and some of them were kind of boring. And also, some of them were just not beginner-friendly at all, such as Untitled Boxing Game. Beginner-friendly basically means that if you're a new player to the game, you shouldn't have to know the mechanics to the game, or you shouldn't have to be a certain skill level at the game to actually get the thing done. You should just... You can play the game and its core mechanics, but you shouldn't have to be a certain skill level to get something done. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, if you're just starting out, you're not going to have enough time to practice until you get to that certain skill level. So, that's my main thoughts for the event. It's honestly my favorite event from the recent ones, you know, from the first hunt to this one. I honestly thought this event was some of Roblox's best. It's probably their biggest event yet, as I said in the beginning of the video, and I stand true to that. Although this event was pretty hard for some people, such as my buddies, I still got it done, and if they couldn't experience it, I made this video so they could experience it with me. So if you guys are actually watching this far into the video, I really appreciate it, and if you want me to do the next Roblox event that I think drops in May, then comment down below, show support to this video, show support to me for what I had to go through in this event, and I might consider doing another video for the next event that drops. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, peace out.